name's Stephen, and I'm here to help you learn the scripture verses that go with Peak, our preschool worship experience here at Pleasant Valley. And we're going to work on several different scripture passages that we learn each week in Peak. We have a different passage that goes with each quarter. Before we do that, we're going to talk about our theme verse, which is for all of Peak. And it comes from Isaiah chapter 2, verse 3. And it's real easy. When we learn scripture, we learn it with hand motions or something like that to help make it easy for us all to remember, not just the kids. So here we go. This is the way our theme verse goes from Isaiah 2, 3. Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. He will teach us his ways that we may walk in his paths. Okay, our passage of memorization for the first quarter is from Exodus chapter 34, verses 6 through 9. And it's a great passage where Moses encounters the Lord and he's asked the Lord to reveal himself, and he does. And so this is what happens. The scripture is verses 6 through 9 of Exodus chapter 34, and it goes like this. The Lord passed in front of Moses, calling out, Yahweh, the Lord, compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, and full of love and truth, who keeps loving kindness for thousands and forgives iniquity, rebellion, and sin. But he will by no means leave the guilty unpunished. And Moses immediately bowed low and worshipped. And he said, O Lord, if I have found favor with you, please go with us. And that's Exodus chapter 34, verses 6 through 9. Okay, so now we're going to learn our second quarter's passage. And so it's going to be for April, May, and June, okay? And it goes like this. It's Psalm 23, very familiar, and the way we're going to do it with hand motion stuff is like this. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Hey, we're going to look at the scripture for memorization with Pete for July, September, and August. And it goes like this. It's from Daniel chapter 3, verses 15 through 18. And the king said, if you do not worship the idol, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. And then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand, O king. But even if he does not, we want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold that you have set up. That's Daniel chapter 3, verses 15 through 18. Hey, we're going to look at the scripture for memorization in Peak for the last quarter of the year, October, November, and December of 2010. And it comes from Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 16, which is the first part of the Sermon on the Mount, right at the beginning after the Beatitudes. And it goes like this. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by men. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, and they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. That's Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 16.